Hi everyone, Jasper Basson here. Thank you for watching, and as you guys know, I'm really trying to attract really influential individuals, and today is obviously nothing less than influential Mr. South Africa 2019, Heinrich Gabler.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, I really appreciate it. It's really an honor for me to be here. And I think there's a few special things that we're going to mention this afternoon. There's a lot of behind the scenes actually now things have come together, like Dieter Voigt, a very good friend of yours and was my mentor for so many years, and I've always heard about you and finally get to meet you today, so it's an honor for me.
Excellent. I think it's a mutual thing.
Yeah, thanks.
But before we go, I think we just need to thank Chamonix in Franschhoek as well. We're drinking great wine. Cheers to that. And I just want to thank you. We're sitting in the wine cellar, right in the bottom in the wine farm. And like I said, I'm really excited to have a nice chat.
Cool.
So, first off, congratulations. Congratulations on winning, and also, how do you feel? And so far, achieved anything from it?
It's really amazing. It's, as I said, Jasper, it's a dream that I held on for 11 years. My mentor at that time, at the age of 18, Dieter Voigt, Mr. South Africa of 2007. A year later, after his crowning, he was at a pageant event where I was participating in. And he called me up afterwards and said, Heinrich, wow, I really see something special in you. And I believe you have a story of hope that you can share with so many people around South Africa, even around the world. So I held on to it from that day at the age of 18, 19, 20. I knew that somehow it would be the right time to enter for Mr. South Africa. And in 2019 it became a reality. It put me on a massive platform. But my heart and my lifestyle was always about giving back to the community. And I have a heart for the less fortunate. And it's something that Dieter carried along also, because he looked after me and he mentored me all these years, and I couldn't learn from a better person other than him. And of course the fact that he was Mr. South Africa, it was something that I also wanted to achieve, because it meant so much to me coming from a Mr. South Africa. And now it comes to 2019 and here I am with the title. It's something that the majority of South Africa really wanted, that followed me for such a long time, because they really saw that this guy's heart is out there for the community, for South Africa, for the investment of their lives and to uplift the communities. And it gave me a platform, and my lifelong dream was opening an organization, or finding an organization and being a founder of it. Foundation organization, if you call it that way. And I started Upcycle SA. It's a organization that gives back to the community in forms of sports equipment, if I can say that. And it uplifts the less fortunate, because sport gave me a second chance at life. And ironically enough, Dieter is the co-founder, and Liesel Visser is with us at Upcycle. And that's taken South Africa by storm, if I can say that, even starting in the Western Cape. But we're starting off very small, and we really want a good foundation. And we don't want to go too big too quickly, because we want a lifelong. I don't want a once-off thing, bam, thank you ma'am, it's done. But I'm very privileged to get that from my title, because my title will be over in a year. Yes. People will always be remembered for being the title holder of a certain year. But Upcycle is something that we want to carry on for a very long time to come.
Let's delve a bit deeper into Upcycle. Exactly what it's NPO, and exactly what is it all about?
NPO, NGO, if you call it that way. It's where it comes from. Basically, is I grew up in the orphanage, and a lot of people know my story. And I never grew up with a lot, and I always loved sports. And luckily for me, I played rugby, where you just basically at a young age you need a PT shorts and a shirt, and you can play rugby. But if you want to become a cricket player, netball, hockey, you need a cricket bats, pads, gloves, helmet. And when you grow up with less than other people, that's basically impossible to play these sports without the equipment. Some schools have one cricket kit and all 11 players have to use it. Or netball girls will need tackies to play. In rugby, of course, high school need togs, and I was fortunate enough for people sponsoring me that. So I always knew that I wanted to give back on a bigger scale and to provide those available to less fortunate. So a year ago, and I realized that so many people have a lot of things at home. Either a pair of rugby togs, netball shoes, tennis racket, hockey stick, a cricket bat, cricket pads, gloves, helmet. There's so many things that people once have used for one season and don't know what to do with it anymore. And here I am with my organization collecting those items from people, individual schools, organizations or companies. And then I would go to less fortunate communities or schools, share my story of hope. Basically a boy growing up in an orphanage, becoming Mr. South Africa, which means you can achieve things if you really believe. I'd share my story and then I would hand over the equipment to them so that they can also enjoy themselves playing and just being themselves on the field. So that's quite special to me. So a lot of people have opened their hearts. Some businesses are willing to open their wallets to financially fund us, because there's some kids that really excel in sports and would want to go on a rugby tour or a soccer tour or a netball or hockey tour, but they don't have the funds. And our dream is basically having enough funds just so you know what, Upcycle will cover 80%, 100% of the funds that this guy or this girl can go and live their dreams and go on tour, because that changed lives. It sets another platform for them. So that's Upcycle basically in a nutshell. And it's something that the Lord placed on my heart. So when God places something in your heart, it's quite ironic sitting here today and thinking back, as a 13-year-old in the orphanage, having nothing, God showed me that Heinrich, one day you will have an organization.
Wow.
And I'm thankful that everything turned out to have Liesel and Dieter with me on the team, and Martelise, and there's a few, yourself is shortly going to be on the team as well, part of us, and doing the financials, and because we want it to be a legit thing that people can put their trust into, because a lot of organizations out there, people they're skeptical about. So Upcycle will basically be one open window for people to say, you know what, we can see exactly what you guys are doing and we want to get involved.
I grew up as also not really rugby but martial arts, and I had the privilege also to go overseas, and so every time I see the opportunity, especially in martial arts for me, for somebody to have an opportunity to go but they can't afford it to go, my heart just opened up for it. I mean, and the thing is with generosity, I'm very much, I believe it doesn't matter what you do in personal life or in business. There's two things that really change the landscape. Almost going to call it some guy in America, spiritual gangsters, a clothing company, but he calls it the secret sauce of business. Wow. And kindness and generosity. Generosity is really, I mean, if you look at it, doesn't matter if you believe in God or not, but it comes from the Bible. What you sow, you will reap. And generosity, when you start giving whatever you want to do, if it's money, it's great. If it's kind of service related, if it can be anything that if you give without expecting anything to come back, you will always receive an abundance.
Wow, that's so true. As you're speaking and getting goosebumps, I'm thinking about my time again as a 16-year-old. We had the opportunity to tour to Argentina. Of course, I didn't have the funds, growing up in an orphanage, she was going to provide. And there was this lady, but she's my, I'll say, adoptive mom, Dawn Jorgensen. She's now Bradnick, and Roger, her husband at that time. And they allocated the funds available for me, and by means of fundraisers. And that tour really changed my life. It was the first time that I basically went overseas, and I really got to see a different side of the world and experience something as that special. But unfortunately, it needed funds, and there they were, and provided the funds for me to go overseas. It's something that I'll keep on to my heart for a very, very long time, forever basically. And I know how much that meant to me. So my dream is basically, as you said, and I'm fortunate enough to be in this business world, and I really want to work so hard and also provide from my side that into my own organization, if I can say that funds would be available to support kids that really dream to become a great sportsman or sportswomen, and if they want to go on tour, that we can provide the funds for them. Let's
talk about just stepping back one step. You talk about Dieter Food, Mrs. Africa 2007. I have what I call my 5 gyms, that the 5 people I allow into my personal space, in my personal life, and Dieter is one of those 5. He's also been a mentor since about 2011, and since then it's always a mutual mentorship to each other in different fields. So yeah, I mean, it's actually great to see somebody else as well, other people as well, and I know exactly where he's coming from and the value he gave me in all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
So it's what do you suggest for people listening today, in a sense of having a mentor, having a personal trainer coach, having a business coach, the value in your opinion for somebody like that?
As you're speaking, it's just goosebumps all over, and it's quite insane to think that one person can bring so much change to this world, and how much his words, something that happens so easily, but it carries so much power. Just 11 years ago, just the words of Heinrich, I believe in you, taking me from having nothing, the words of Heinrich, I believe in you, holding on to that. 11 years later, I become Mr. South Africa. Through all my troubles and tribulations and everything, but the fact that he was always there, I could pick up the phone any time of the day, any time of the night, and just say, "Teacher, I'm in this situation." He said, "I won't always be able to give you advice, but sometimes it's just the ear for you to speak your heart out, and I can listen, and if I'm in a position to give you advice, I'll give the advice to you, because I'm not perfect, I'm just a human being and really having a heart for people." So that guy, to know what he meant to me, is like, I will never ever doubt myself to be able to say, "Heinrich, you can't help other people, or you can't be that mentor for other people." Just the fact that I know how much he meant to me, and just the fact that you're sitting here as well, speaking the same about him. Of course, he is in a class of his own, we can't deny that, and it's to be honest with me, myself, is that my Mr. South Africa reign, I do really measure up to Dieter. And that's all I have to do, and say, "Dieter, if I do half what you do, I'll be successful." But of course, there was a guy also I've been good by. He was the guy before me, and someone I really adore, but I appreciate it. He has a heart for the community. I love reading his book. He wrote a book about his journey as well, The Hearts, because he's about a guy giving back, and it's never about ourselves. And I'm sure that all the previous Mr. South Africans, the John Owens and Armand Duplessis, they're all about giving back, and it's never about us, and that's something I'd always want to carry on, so someone can just look at Heinrich's life and his reign, your reign, and basically to see that, wow.
I think that's a massive point regarding giving back. It's not about me. In a world where we currently are with selfies and just trying to show off my next big six-pack kind of thing, and there is potentially a place for that maybe, but in a world that portrays really just everything is me, all is my ego, and I think giving back is so much more value, and you can, like I say, giving back one word of you believe can really just change somebody's life. I mean, there's exactly proof of it. So I think anybody at this stage, if you believe, you take it to myself, is I think reconsider and really start making the world more about us and not about me.
Yeah, that's true, and there's always time for selfies, of course.
Of course, and there's obviously also reasons for that as well. But in general, I think there's a lot more. But all I'm saying is, I think selfies and Instagram and those kind of things really subconsciously influence us to the point that it's all about us.
I totally hear you, and I 110% agree with you there, Jasper. I want to share a special story. I was 10 years old, my first year in the orphanage, the first year that was my birthday in the orphanage, and I received a 10 rand, and I go down to town, and I bought myself a pie and a cool drink. I've shared this in the magazine before, in the interview. And I bought me the pie and cool drink, and I ate half the pie and drank half the cool drink, and I was full. And I was walking back to the orphanage, and there was a kid along the street, and I gave half the pie and cool drink to him. And the feeling I got that day of just being able to give, was the first time I had something on my own that I could give to someone. It was a feeling that I became addicted to, I can say that. It was probably the best feeling I had after giving my heart to the Lord. Of course, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. But giving that little kid along the street half of my pie and cool drink, it was something that I held on to, and I just couldn't stop giving after that, because I loved the feeling of that. And I always promised myself, Jasper, it's very important that my left hand should never see what my right hand does. It's not necessary for me to announce, I've helped that person, that, but the Lord sees what you're doing, and He will bless you eternally one day for what you're doing. But as you said, it is the best feeling to give and to think about it. The first thing I ever gave to someone, basically someone else that was my own, was a half a pie and half a cooling. But what I have today is 100 times more than a half a pie and a bit of food drink. So it just goes to show that I receive so much more than I could ever give, and I do give a lot, even though, as I said, the people will never see what I basically do. But to say in a humble way, my whole life is about giving. But how can I have still so much? If you give so much, it just shows that so many other people bless me, which I'm thankful for. And I always say thank you for putting me in just a better position to be able to give to other people and provide.
For sure.
So that's basically my 10 cents worth of giving. It just shows you. If you ever wonder if you do receive more than you give, even though you want to give so much, I'm a living example of that.
Two very valid points there, but maybe the most people call it, but giving without being noticed. Giving without, is again back to our egos, but giving, being very generous, but don't tell anybody about it. And it won't always, the second thing is, won't always come from the same place, and sometimes it will never come from the same place. You might be very generous with that on one side, and all of a sudden something from the other side coming in, but it's a flow of...
That is so true, Jasper. And what I want to mention there is that there's a saying that says, if you do charity, leave your camera at home. But it's a situation where I'm in at the moment. Sometimes people would love to see that you're giving back, and sometimes it motivates them to get involved as well. So as long as you're doing it with the right intentions and your heart is in the right place, as you're just mentioning now, I'm sure that everything will be a-okay. So people will see, you know what, he's sharing this on social media, not because he wants to boast about anything, it's just to show, wow, you can do something else.
You can do it too.
You can do it too, you can get involved. And it's always nice to show the people that donated something to Upcycle, to see where it's going. And they'll always take pics about it. So there is a place for that. But your heart and your intentions, even though they say that the way to hell is paved with good intentions, because you try to intend something and it just goes horribly wrong. But the Lord knows your heart. He knows what you're doing, and the Lord knows your intentions. So if you're doing it with the right intentions and your heart's in the right place, please share as much about it as possible, because it does inspire other people. And a lot of things on social media inspire me as well.
Yeah, for sure. Last thing about Business Africa, anything that you will still, apart from obviously being as influential as possible to everybody that you can, and running and building up Upcycle as big as you can, anything else that you want to achieve as Business Africa?
Apart from that, I'm competing internationally, February 2020, Mr. Manon International, where I'll represent South Africa on the international stage. It might sound a bit vain, and I made a post about it, saying that, and just thinking about, I really want to be known as the best Mr. South Africa there ever was, because I've learned from the best that there ever was, in my eyes. Very good friends, both of them, Habib and Ahmad. And having Dieter as a mentor, I have no excuse not to deliver and be the best Mr. South Africa that there ever was. Because I have everything that I need. I have an amazing foundation set for me, platform if I can say that. I have the right mentor and the support system, the people that support me on social media. To you guys, every message is really inspiring. And knowing that I do it with the heart from God, if I can say that, because I know it's God's plan for me. There's nothing else. But I always say that how ironic it is that I'll speak more in churches than anywhere else.
Wonderful.
That's amazing how God uses me. So I want to be known as a guy that, wow, that guy will never be forgotten, as like a Michael Mole. Why not? You know, even though I've never met him personally, that's the first name that comes up to everyone.
Very influential.
Dieter, Fuchs Voigt, and he comes up to everyone, and Armand is one that stands out, and Habib is close to my heart. So why can't I be one of those guys that will be remembered for a long time? And I just have to keep on doing what I'm doing, to be honest, I've achieved a lot within a short time, because Mr. South Africa, the organisation and the brand wasn't at its best when I was crowned, and now we're moving into higher heights.
Yes.
And it's something that I want to play part in and take it to the next level. So the next guy that's crowned as Mr. South Africa, that he would have the right platform as well, and to use it to the best of his abilities and for the right reasons.
Yes.
So that's basically my intention.
Amazing. But good luck, and
thank you.
I'm sure you will get that. You've got great mentors.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing, and well done.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jasper.
If you can allow me to really delve a bit into your morning routines and daily habits,
sure.
because I think for any successful person, it doesn't matter if it's Mrs. Africa, if it's for an athlete, if it's for a business owner, we all need specific morning routines, daily habits. Not one size fits all, but we can all learn from each other. So let's tackle morning routines, anything, especially in the campaign of going into Mr. South Africa, anything that you feel that changed the game for you?
A healthy body leads to a healthy mind and leads to a healthy lifestyle. So being healthy is very, very important. And to be honest, especially now that I'm in the business world, because I was in teaching for 7 years and I was a physical education teacher as well as science, being healthy plays a very, very important role. Probably the most important. So exercise is very important for me. Sometimes exercise in the evening, but to eat healthy in the morning, my porridge, breakfast is very important. So, and also renewing your mind. So I'll always read a Bible piece in the morning, a verse for the day, and that gets me set up in the morning. I'm standing up early because it becomes a habit, and I always say that. If you want to go and change the world and be a go-getter, you got to start early in the morning.
What is early?
No, if I say I wake up at just past 6, go past 6 in the morning and get myself ready. In the summer, in the winter, you sleep a bit later than normal. But just being in that routine. Some people wake up 5, 4 o'clock in the morning. But for me, just past 6 is great. But there's a lot of people that sleep until 9. 9, 10 in the morning, so that's just not going to do things for you unless you're okay with that. But if you want to go and make a difference,
you want to change the world,
you gotta start early in the morning.
Exactly. Daily habits. I know you also. I'm not sure if you're still working at Tiptrans.
Yeah,
right? You're still working there.
And that's quite amazing. Yeah, it's just that people sometimes forget that I have an 8 to 5. But I'm thankful for working at my adopted father's. Peter Visser's business and HR there, and in a few years' time I'll basically take the business part of it, and he would just have to sit back because he's worked very hard all his life. So I would go to work and it's basically meeting after meeting after meeting. And being HR, I work with a lot of people, and it's very difficult working with people because you'll never ever have everyone happy at the same time. There's always someone that's...
Especially in HR.
Yeah, so it's about people, relationships, if I can say that, mensenverhoudingen, in Afrikaans, say that, and basically just uplifting them. But to be honest, it's very difficult because I'll basically be out there and say, this is the way we're going to do it, and if you're not going to jump on this bandwagon and go with me, and it's a wild ride, baby, so we're going for a ride, and it's a roller coaster ride, I can't go down onto their level, even though I want to so much, because otherwise I will just become just like them, negative, walk around, head on your shoulders and not give a damn about anything. So I try and be on this bandwagon and say, you know what, I'm stopping, I'm willing to jump up and we're going to move on. So I don't have a lot of time. If you really want help, you should be open to it. In Afrikaans is the word toegankelijk. I'll say, yes, toegankelijk. Ons gaan hierdie kan doen. And we can do it together, because together we are stronger. We're a team. So that's my basically daily routine, being at work and helping where I can. It's a lot of times it's meeting after meeting, and then when it comes to Mr. Essay, I'll try and put my work up to date, and then I'll go out to a school, upcycle essay, or just being Mr. South Africa, go and inspire a lot of schools and communities. And if there's some time left, I'll go back to work to finalize everything. Then I go home. Before home, I hit the gym.
And you walk your dogs a lot?
Walk my dogs a lot. I love walking my dogs because they mean the world to me. I live with my 2 brothers. We're very close, and the dogs are part of our family, of course, to everyone, the family. But it's important to walk them as well and just give them the love that they deserve, if I can say that. I'm an animal lover, and I'm a dog lover, if I can say that. So.
What is the value for you by going after work and walk with your dogs or going to the gym?
Yes, it's just sometimes you need time to think in that fresh air. As I said, after body leads the mind, and walking and just thinking about certain things and reminiscing and just experience nature and just how amazing sometimes will be the sunset by then, and just in awe of God's creation. And just that time I spend with my dogs, and people that love dogs and animals would know how much it means to them. Just sharing the love for them and giving them, as I said, the love that they deserve, but the joy I get out of it, it's 10,000 more than the joy the dogs are getting for a walk, you know. So it's more, just renewing my strength again.
Amazing. If I could ask you, that's all good habits, good everything. Any bad habit that you suggest any person needs to stop today?
Of course, a bad habit of there is that I'm a very generous person, so I would always like to visit people, and then people always have some snacks out and eating, and sometimes I'll eat out of my...
It wasn't good for your eating plan.
Because now I'm such, I don't want to say no, but then I know I need to go and work 10 times harder. And I enjoy my whiskey and soda, sometimes brandy and coke. I wouldn't say it's a bad habit, but as long as you do it in the measurements, you know.
Any bad habit that you believe any other person that's watching here today need to stop today?
Yeah, if I can say that, I would sometimes feel that I would overuse alcohol, if I can say that, because sometimes I'll go around everyone wants to drink a beer with you, everyone wants to drink a whiskey or two, and I realize sometimes you need to cut down on the alcohol because too much is not good for you. And I really enjoy alcohol because it's a joyous celebration and to drink, and I realized at some point you need to cut down. I thought it would be impossible because I love my wine and I love my whiskey or brandy, but it was possible for me to say, you know what, no, thank you for now. I just limit time out, and on the weekend I'll enjoy another beer, and then the next day I'll just try and walk it or jog it out and to keep my body healthy. So a bad habit, I used to drink a bit more than usual because everyone offers you something, or you want to go drink a beer with a few mates, and the next mates come along and they want to drink a beer with you, and me being, let's order another one, you know, and that's not good for your health. So if you're drinking a bit too much, you know, it's possible to just cut down, and it's just a mindset. You have to say, you know, I don't want to, and I need to look after my physique.
For sure. I've recently started with the influence of my wife. Yeah. Stop drinking coffee. So because even though there might be good benefits, there's also very bad things by drinking coffee as well. And I initially started only drinking 2 cups of coffee because obviously with clients you also, like you say, the next person wants to drink coffee with you, the next person wants to drink coffee with you, and you get, end of the day you get to 5, 7, 8 cups of coffee. So at this stage, about a month and a half now, I didn't drink any coffee. Wow, and it's massive discipline. I mean,
especially the caffeine that gives you a cold turkey.
and people in the office making filter coffee, brewing inside and going into you smell it and so it's difficult when you stop. But the thing is, like you say, it's possible. Anything is possible.
And even think about coffee and sugar. How much people drink 3 sugars in coffee?
Even noticing it.
I was 1 sugar and I cut down onto like 0, and it works for me. Now the milk in my coffee is even too sweet for me. Yeah. It just shows that it's possible to cut down on sugar as well, because I believe that's a very, very big sugar.
It's a legalized drug.
Yeah, and it's probably a very addictive drug, if I can say that, because people get that feeling for sugar. So if you drink too much sugar in your cup of coffee, I would suggest that you try and cut down at least 1, and then go down from 3 to 2, and then to 1, and then later on you'll drink no sugar, and the milk will be sweet for you, at least for me now.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. 2 books that you believe changed your life?
Sure, I really enjoyed Spud.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it was, it's just quite weird, 13 cents. Okay. It's quite a sad book. It's about a book that's in Sea Point, because young boys were misused by men and like souls on the streets, and so it touched my heart a lot. In high school, the first book I really ever read through was Dikkie van die Boerkap. It's a cool book, man. It's the first time because I grew up in an English family and English class, and I got to Wellington and let's speak Afrikaans. And now that's like my first language. And I read the book Dikkie van die Boerkap. So it was quite cool how the community in the Boerkap really looks after each other, and baking the cook sisters, and they can look after each other's families. It's about District 6 as well there, and how everything happened. It was quite special to know that South Africa really has a heart for their people, and how people really looked after each other. And still today there's a lot of feel-good stories, if I can say that, but that book really meant a lot to me about the Muslim community in the Boerkap and South Africa.
With Africa currently in a bit of a, well, I think a negative light. I don't believe so. I believe there's a lot of opportunity for us in South Africa, but with propaganda, everything going on. But how do you, about 2 points that you believe how we can change South Africa, how we can make South Africa amazing again?
Yeah, and Jasper, I guess you're on the right spots by doing all these podcasts and things, and that really means a lot to a lot of people. So inspiring people, people need that inspiration, but loving one another. And I always say that, jump back a few steps, is that I grew up with an abusive father, and I would never ever be able to forgive him if it wasn't for God that touched my heart and gave me a new life, and through that I could forgive my father for what he has done to me, and I could forgive him, and therefore then I could love other people, because I could never love other people before, to be honest. I had a barrier around me, I had this hatred, the creation inside of me. And as I said on the one Facebook status, South Africa doesn't need a new economy, it doesn't need a new government, it doesn't need new schools. South Africa needs Christ. By saying that, and I always say that when you speak religion, you speak about Muslims, Buddhists, atheists, Christians, and they all believe in certain gods, but I'm fortunate enough to believe in Christ and the God of love, but they all are good people, if I can say that. No matter what they believe in, they really want to do good. So I'm sure that somehow they will believe something, just a bigger, higher power to touch their heart, to be able to love one another, and then this country would change for the better if we can love and care for one another. Because as I said, and we mentioned again, and that's the Springboks playing in the World Cup final, we're stronger together, and we need to be there for each other. So love one another and care for one another. And my prayer is that people will meet Christ, because I know what it means to me in my life. As I said, I was there. I hated for so long, and I had aggression for so long, until Christ touched my heart, and then I could love and forgive other people. So sometimes you have in your heart, you have a lot of things, and feels like the walls on your shoulders. I just want you to forgive the people that have ever done wrong to you. And sometimes I also realize, Heinrich, you've maybe done something wrong to other people. Sometimes you should go and ask for forgiveness as well. And then I realize, there must never ever be pride in your way. So put your pride in your pocket and go and ask for forgiveness.
Just before we started, we talked about Robin Sharma, and I shared with you his whole methodology about mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. And one of his models is called AFRA. So, especially coming to purify your heart, is be aware of the things that scratch your heart, that's things that's there that you need to be aware of. I mean, like you said, with your father. Yeah. And so that's A for AFRA. The F is for AFRA is the feel that emotion, really go deep and feel it. That's a difficult part. Actually feel that part and journal about it and do whatever you need to do to actually feel that pain. And the next one is what AFRA is release it, and it's really to let go of that feeling after you felt it, and then ascend from there. Obviously AFRA is the last one, is ascend from it. So and we can't really, doesn't matter what you do, if you have some place where your heart needs to be purified, doesn't matter if it's a business partner, if it's a life partner, if it's a parent, if it's anything. I think if we purify our heart really and let go of that, we can
that's so true.
grow from there.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's amazing what a great guy Robin Sharma.
Yeah. Great mentor.
So like when you watch you speak, like, oh, this guy's speaking straight to me. You try and dodge it, like, oh, I don't need someone else, but then
dodge
you
a
realize,
bullet.
he's speaking straight to you, and you can take a lot from that. So thank you once again. I really appreciate being here and sharing some of the things that are on my heart again. That people of South Africa also understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
The reason I do certain things.
Amazing. Thank you very much. I think just lastly, any tip for any person that's stuck currently where they are and really want to achieve something, doesn't matter what it is, if it's fitness, a business.
Yeah, I believe you should have the right mindset because your mind is so strong. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. So my best wish for you is to say that I can. Take baby steps every day. Just consistency is key. I think at the time when I was also practicing and exercising, every day I would just do a little. Half an hour in the gym, half an hour. Some guys will jump for 2 hours. I know, dude, I'm taking it step by step. Consistency is key. And after a few months you see the results, because that get rich quick schemes, it doesn't work. No. It takes a lot of hard work. So nothing worthwhile in life comes easy. So if you want something, you got to work hard for it. You got to wake up in the morning, tell yourself that you can, go for it, and you can achieve anything that you want to. The sky is your limit. It sounds like a cliche, but what stops you from doing it? Only yourself. So I want you to believe in yourself. You can't expect Jasper, myself, or anyone else to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. So you know what you're good at, you know what your strengths are, and you know what your dreams are. And then again, I always say that we all have a story. Allemaal het 'n story. Soms moet jy net bereid wees om te luister. So sometimes you should also just listen, and sometimes those people with the stories must have the courage to speak out as well. To share their testimonies, because that will help someone else. It's also going through the same thing, you know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, it was great. It was actually the first time I met you, but we spoke on the phone and everything before, and
thanks for being part of our cycle as well.
For sure, I'm very excited to be part of it as well, and I think we're going to grow that, really grow it, and encourage everybody to be very generous and open their hearts to do. That always is not, this is not your thing, something else, but be generous.
Yeah.
But we're not done. Apparently they arranged a game drive or something, or something for us on the farm.
I saw the car.
We're gonna explore this farm the whole day.